So it feels like we're at a major turning point for anyone in the networking world. Cisco just rolled out its biggest certification shakeup in a decade this February, and it sends a pretty clear message. If you can't code, you might be in trouble.
It's a huge signal. Cisco officially retired the DevNet brand and folded it directly into the main certification tracks as automation. So you now have CCNA automation, CCNP automation, and so on. They're basically saying that automation has stopped being a separate career path and has become a survival skill for everyone.
And it's not just a name change, right? They've changed the tools of the trade. The exam requirements have dropped older tools like Chef and Puppet and are now laser focused on Terraform and Ansible.
Exactly. It's Cisco admitting that if you aren't thinking in terms of infrastructure as code, you're already working in the past. It's not just about knowing how to plug in cables and configure a switch manually anymore. The new expectation is that you can use a remote control like Ansible to manage 1,000 switches at once. It's the amplification of networking.
That makes sense. So the how we manage networks has fundamentally changed. But it seems like Cisco is also changing what is running on those networks, specifically by bringing artificial intelligence into the exam room.
Right. Let's talk about the AI elephant in the room. The updated CCNA now explicitly tests you on AI ops and machine learning applications. We're talking about AI-driven network optimization, where the system can automatically adjust Wi-Fi channels for better performance, or even use predictive maintenance to spot hardware that's about to fail.
So instead of getting a call at 2 a.m. because a switch died, the system would have already flagged it for replacement a week earlier?
That's the dream. It's about moving away from the firefighter mentality that has defined network administration for so long. Traditionally, a network admin is the person who gets yelled at when the internet is down. With these new AI tools, the goal is for the network to become self-healing. The AI can identify a security anomaly or a performance bottleneck and fix it in the background, often before a user even notices there was a problem.
That's a huge shift. Do you need to be a data scientist to pass this exam now?
Not at all, and that's the key. The exam focuses on understanding the impact times of these technologies, not the deep math behind them. It's about knowing how AI can improve the quality of experience for users, or how machine learning can be used to spot threats. You're the supervisor of the AI, not its creator.
Got it. So we have a smarter network, but I guess a smarter network also needs much tighter locks on the doors, which seems to be the other major focus of this update.
Yes, security is the other big winner. Cisco is now requiring a deep dive into Zero Trust Network Architecture, or ZTNA. The philosophy is never trust, always verify. It's a foundational shift away from the old model of just having a strong firewall. In a zero trust world, the network is constantly checking the ID of everyone and everything trying to get access.
And on the wireless side, they've made WPA3 the new standard.
Yes, and that's a big deal for everyday security. WPA3's new authentication method basically kills the old brute force attacks that made it so easy for people to steal their neighbor's Wi-Fi password. It's like replacing a standard house key with a biometric lock that gets harder to pick every time someone tries.
What I found interesting is that they also went back to basics and added a bunch of advanced spanning tree protocol features like root guard and loop guard. That feels a bit old school.
It's a very telling move. It tells me that despite all the flashy AI and automation, simple Layer 2 network loops are still crashing major corporate networks. Mastering something like BPDU Guard is essentially the seatbelt of networking. It's a fundamental safety feature, and it saves everything when things go terribly wrong.
So we've got a clear picture of the 2026 landscape, a mix of cutting-edge AI, mandatory automation, and rock-solid security fundamentals. For someone listening who wants to get certified, what are the absolute key takeaways they need to know to pass this thing?
Okay, let's break it down. First, the exam logistics are the same. It's the 200 to 301, 120 minutes, about $300. And you need an 825 out of 1,000 to pass. It's good for 3 years. Second, automation is now a core skill. You have to know Python basics, how REST APIs work, and definitely get your hands on Ansible and Terraform. Third, get familiar with AI ops concepts. You don't need to be an AI expert, but you need to explain how AI can optimize things like Wi-Fi and predict hardware failures. Fourth, security is non-negotiable. You must understand zero trust, the benefits of WPA3 over WPA2, and those advanced STP protections we just talked about. And finally, you'll want an 8-to-1 to 2-week study plan. Start with the fundamentals, then do deep dives into these new topics with hands-on labs.